Every day I come in
I
here,
thought
I'm
you
like,
were looking very polished, actually.
I don't think so. Oh my God, these nights in the
Yeah,
ascension, just like, what in the
messenger.
hell?
I
What
think
in the,
that'll come up in our conversation, I
yeah,
reckon.
we got plenty of time too.
I've seen who
Yeah,
you've got on after as well, which is lovely because
I think
Michael.
they're not on till, they're not on for what, another 2 hours though. I
Yes.
think. I think. Let me see. Yeah, they're not on for 2 hours. And then two
Yeah.
hours after that is that gathering.
Wow. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna,
because I'm staying up for that. So
yeah,
I'm staying.
I'm gonna moderate it. I don't know what's going, everything this morning since I've been up, and I've been up a while, has been blurry. I had recall last night of being, okay, hang on, let me see here. So we were on the earth in physical form. We did not have, the world wasn't like it is right now. We had the ability to be anywhere we wanted to be, anywhere we wanted to be, with whoever we wanted to be. We had the ability to manifest instantly. And everywhere I went, there was a golden light. There was a golden light, like sunlight, except for this was a golden light. It happened to me. This golden light has come in. It came in. Okay, it came in when I came off the street. I remember I had this episode. Then it happened out at the bayou. The whole bayou went golden light. And then it's happened a few other times. Yesterday, it happened to me twice. I was doing the show with Franco, and the whole room in here went golden light. And it happened to me one other time yesterday. But anyway, in this dream, in this lucid dream, it was like, okay, it was like, if your physical experience, let's say most of us, we live alone, we get on the internet, we talk to friends, we post, right? The way the earth was in this lucid dream was, if a person did those things that we normally do every day, every single person that they would come into contact with, send a message to, every person that they came across their energy would be in front of them. Almost like a hologram. It was almost like a hologram, but it wasn't. Or it could be physical if you wanted it to be, but it was almost like a hologram. So I don't know what the hell's going on the earth. Do you?
Don't ask me.
Here,
I haven't got
I'm
a
gonna.
clue.
I'm gonna.
I mean, only what's here right now, and it's the same. It's like literally, it's hour by hour and minute by minute.
Isn't it?
Nothing is predictable. You can feel the waves coming in, but what they're going to do and what's happening, I mean, for me, it's the same, Todd, like my whatever we call perception, or we
Yeah.
may have thought was perception or enhanced perception, seems very much more easy and liquid than you could have possibly imagined
Yeah.
it to be. And it seems to be like that more and more and more, but coupled with absolutely washed out body, achy bones, and
Yeah.
needing to take a lot of resting space to integrate as well. But it's really, some of the things that have happened this week, I would say, are like a science fiction film,
Thank you.
because you can't
I'm
you
like,
you can't
yeah.
find words for it either. The
Thank
words
you.
don't
Yes.
really work.
Thank you very much, because I thought I literally today, I'm up for the last 2 3 hours, and I'm like, what the f is wrong with me? Like I feel like I'm momentarily in a place that I don't belong. Okay, how do I make this? How do I bring this back to what you're saying? It's like, okay, so it's like this has never happened to me before. That everything that's very human today is really pissing me off, and I don't even get pissed off anymore. And it's not like angry. I'm just like going, I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's like it's like sleeping, eating, bathe, brush, all these human things, they're getting on my nerves, right? What is that? But it's just another day in the week here, right? I mean,
yeah, I think I think potentially what I'm feeling is that we've been talking about embodiment, which is obviously getting all our parts together, and lots of us have worked very hard on working with integration, and we've kind of gone past that, even though that's still a way of life. That is, it's just a way of life. You don't so much need. It's not a process. It's not a big thing. So now the light body is being actualized by these plasmic waves and the earth and in solar waves all in combination, and it's like a perfect storm. And I really honestly, I've got to just be really honest here, because I just feel like our light body is really unleashing and igniting inside of our physical bodies, and it's of the physical thing just feels a little bit strange when you've gone into that plasmic field. I'm the same. I'm struggling with day-to-day activities, particularly anything that involves any kind of logic, like putting a video together.
right, exactly, right. I made my first one. I actually made two last week, and I hadn't done them in like 2-3 years. It was like a foreign language again. I stepped into a space, really two spaces yesterday. I went out, and I haven't done that. I just haven't been going anywhere. I've probably gone like two places since Morgan left to go to the grocery store or something. I walked into these two places, and so one was a restaurant, but I sat at the bar, had a beer and some gumbo, and I literally felt like an alien, like I could not relate to anyone or anything. Everything looked weird and out of place. I know this sounds crazy, but I went.
I was saying yesterday.
Were you really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a hermit too. Okay. I don't really go out in what we would have called regular space. I don't really do that much anymore. I tend to go out in nature. When I go out, I like to be in nature or with people I like and with my friends. So I went to the city where I live, and it's very, very busy, to a shopping centre. And the experience I've had in the shopping centre was, I felt things like that before. It's not new, but this time it was amplified, and I felt that I could see it, and I was walking in it and interacting with it. So my hands were interacting with things, but I didn't feel like, I was wondering whether any of it was real a little bit, and whether it would be there for much longer in the way that it was. It felt like it was it had no energy. It was sort of empty. It's hard to explain.
No. I'm with you. I think this is
the only. It was empty, and I was fine being in it. I didn't mind it. I was buying some clothes. I was just buying some clothes, and I was just like, oh, here I am buying some clothes, and it felt like I was in a sort of holographic simulation. With people walking past, and I can see geometry and stuff. I can see geometry in buildings, so it's a little bit.
When did that happen to you?
It's a bit weird.
Was that this week? Was it this week?
Yes. That's been happening for about 4 or 5 years, with the sort of seeing through the energy matrix. That's just something that happens spontaneously. Okay. But the feeling that I'm talking about, which is what I feel you were talking about sharing, that feeling of, it's like, it's not a disconnection. It's just, I can't find the right words, but
I can't either. You almost,
you're in your body fully. You're not out of your body, but the energy that you're interacting with, and you're interacting with, has got zero pull. There's no pull. There's nothing.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Pulling. There was no triggering. There was no desire. It was just neutral.
Okay. See, this is what we have to do. We have to talk about it. So I think, first of all, I think it's amazing that I just brought this up and you said it's happening to you. I saw a post this morning from Sandra Walter talking about, don't even ask me what it said, but I can just energy. I know it was like about this moment, about this week, about this month. And the only thing I remember seeing, she said that the word that was in her, I guess in her diary for this month was consistency. So that I thought, okay, I'm going to remember that. Now I'm talking to you, and I'm actually realizing what I just went through because of what you just said. So when I was sitting at the bar, eating a bowl of gumbo and drinking a beer, the only thing I have to say, the only things that registered was the soup and the beer. That was it. The spoon, the chair, the people, none of it. It was almost like I was invisible. But they were seeing me. But I felt like I was invisible. I felt like I was like somebody just stuck me in there. I don't know how to. You know what I mean? You go.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
Actually, I did. I was writing a code. It's not one of the videos. I was writing a code in Glastonbury in this beautiful little cafe, and I sat down. It was last summer, and I was just involved in what I was doing, so I wasn't paying attention to the time. And I'd ordered when I went in, and an hour later, my order hadn't come. So I asked somebody, and they were really surprised to see me. And I gave them my order again, and they apologised. And another half an hour later, nothing had happened. And it's literally like they were walking past me and they didn't see me. And they said they didn't see me at all. So I don't know why that happens, but I know it happens to a lot of people.
I believe that.
Kind of phase in and out.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily. I feel like that a lot, actually. I just be honest. Like when I'm walking around, I was in London a few weeks ago. And it's really, it's heavy. It's heavy energy.
Is it really? Is it really? I've never been there, but I mean, is it?
Very,
because it's a crowded. I mean, London's a big city. I mean, it's crowded, right?
It is, but the energy is. How could I say it? With the signage and the types of psyop programming is very.
Yeah,
very
and I read where they have
in London.
Yeah.
Over, say, like in other places in England, it's a very, very heavy and dense energy, and it's also where all the seat of all the monarchy is. So there's, without raising the energy, it's quite an intensive place to be, but also that's sometimes where I'm called to go and to do things. So when I'm walking around, I often feel like I'm cloaked in a kind of energy shield or like a ball of light of moving geometry, and I feel like I'm there, but I'm kind of in a living light ship moving around, and people don't really notice that it's like you're there, but you're not there. It's the same feeling, but I don't feel it is. It used to freak me out, but now I just feel that's okay. But the new feeling is what you were describing. It's like I know an object's an object because my brain is making it into an object and identifying with it. But for all intents and purposes, I feel like often I'm in lots of places as well. But I'm not necessarily aware of all those places, but it's like you can feel the energy working. You can feel that there's other dimensions in this dimension, in this place, just phase shifted out. And you're kind of all of it, really.
It's weird.
I'm not finding the right words.
No, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. In fact, I just want to tell you too, you look absolutely fantastic. I don't know what you've been doing since the last time we talked, but you look absolutely fantastic. And I'm seeing some people I'm seeing are like that. I won't mention any more names because it's people I see on the show, and I'm like, wow. So there's something to that too. But what you were saying, this is so weird that you explain what I'm trying to come to terms with, and what it is it's weird because I'm more present. Like I'm more present, but the more present I am, the less I feel like I'm attached, the more of that feeling I have that I'm like out of place. And maybe it's the sensitivity of the other the other aspects. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like slowing of. There's something with the temporal fields as well, because that's something I don't know anything. Like I find that I like Dr. Joe, but a girl Dr. Joe sometimes, and I start talking about genomics and temporal fields and all kinds of sort of physics things, and I've got no idea about these things. It just comes out of my mouth, and then I look at what comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, where the Jesus is that? Which aspect is sitting with me saying all that stuff? So the time for me feels like inside that you asked me why, like I feel like I look different, and it's I think it's to do with time and slowing of time down inside. There's something to do with the temporal field and the way we oscillate, so that the polarity is less polarized, and we're more in the 0 point, and that's a way of being. Rather than, we try and strive for it, we try and look for it, we practice all the right things and do all the right things that we think are the right things. But when it comes down to it, chilling out with yourself and learning to love yourself, that's the most compassionate grace you can ever give.
Yeah.
That. So what's happened that you asked me is I started to really unconditionally love myself as I am without trying to change myself, and something clicked. Because I was always trying to be living up to something like an ideal of what I should be as a good human, because all I ever, God, I'm getting emotional, all I ever wanted to do was just show up for myself and learn to love myself. So I could serve, not serve even, but just show up in the world wholly. I wanted to show up wholly, my holy being that I felt inside, and authentically me. And I haven't been able to do that until the last 3 or 4 months, and feel okay with it. So not worry about whatever does come out or whatever I need. There's nothing I need to do. It's just I'm showing up from my soul. So whatever flows every day is where I'm at. And it makes business hard, and it can drive people up the wall sometimes, because you're not consistent in the way they want you to be, in a controlling type of way. But I'm authentic to the universe, and I feel so much more because of it, because of setting all that away, all that busyness. It's opened up this miracle place of just feeling nothing that I can say in words, but what I try to do in the video, with showing what through the codes, through visual things, through the soul, what that connection actually is of the living light that I feel with the Diamond Light Collective, that pure light connection. That's it. It doesn't make you a happy being. It makes you an honest, authentic being.
It's you're right. And all the words go away, and it's like okay. And I'm talking about since March, mid-March, equinox, whatever. And it's not been a one-day thing. It's just been this new type of experience, and it's like waking up and going, where am I? What am I doing? What do I want to do? What do I need to do? Like we have this awareness, and there's still, I would say, like big chess pieces on the board that are very important, that are prominent in our lives and in our journey to a higher alignment. The human part. Somebody said they were in a group, and they said just living. And 3D is not a dirty word. It's beautiful. So there's all like that comment. There's all this fresh epiphany and revelation and understanding coming in. And because of that, you walk into a bar, order some gumbo and beer, and sit down, and it's like you're not even there. Literally, there was 2 waitresses or a bartender. There was 2 people over here. There was 1 over here. Nobody said anything to me. I'm sitting there by myself. They're not doing anything. And I had to flag them down every time. And it wasn't because they were rude or irresponsible or just not good workers. And that's just a description of the energy that you're talking about, right? So
Yeah, there's
are
lots
we to
of
get to
questions as
you? Are we to
well.
get? Is it going to remain this way? It
Yeah.
seems like. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I had a sort of a return question. I was batting back and said I was going to ask you a question. Yeah,
Yeah, go
so I
ahead.
know it's
Yeah.
just a conversation. So the something that I noticed, like thinking about the being in the restaurant and people are walking around. So the waiters and waitresses, you know, they're doing the job, but you're kind of not in the flow space, dimensional
Mm-hmm.
band, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard for them to reach you because you're sort of floating around somewhere, but you're physically there, but they can't see you. So I noticed that also when I've been observing people a lot recently. So there's something about the focus of our focus somehow is going into soul. So it's like an antenna that's gone and all the fields are working, but there's a
Mm.
lot of humans where it's gone the other way. And it's like it's the other way.
What do you
And
mean?
that they're in a very narrow focus. So like the range has gone very small,
Okay.
like the other way, gone very small. I think it's probably to create pressure, like a pressure cooker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
sometimes to
got you. I
blow,
got
you
you.
need to
Yeah.
have a bit of pressure,
Yeah.
which is what I think we're observing that in the world everywhere, that pressure cooker, so it can turn, it can move.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to be polite, but
Yeah.
I think people are doing it too. Human beings are doing it too, and they won't know they're doing it because I was like that too. I created pressure in loads of areas of my life, subconsciously, drove behaviors and events and relationships in pressure points to blow those
Mm-hmm.
things open
Right.
so that I can do it. So the pressure of the narrowing of the field, and you can see why, because it's like you go out and you're under fire from constantly from the bullets of tannoy announcements and signage and everything coming at you. So people have, I think, gone into the phones, and that's narrowed the range. So the energy is running in these thin lines, sort of thin gauges. So they're not likely to notice you. They're less likely to notice you,
Mm.
perhaps, than they would have before. But in a way, that's creating also a pressure
Mm.
because the pressure of the whole thing is on a very small point then.
Now
There's
that.
nowhere for it
Yeah.
to
That.
even out, is there? There's nowhere to balance. So the
Yeah.
pipe has to burst at some point.
No, these are good. This is a
Yeah.
good description because it gives you the imagery, because one thing I do get too is that part of the reason, first of all, trying to understand it isn't like a priority, but it's still in my field. Like I think that's a natural thing, but I understand that the way I would even interpret anything is as new as the experience. Like in other words, it doesn't even look like anything that I've been exposed to. So trying to understand it it's like picking up a book that's written in Russian, and the pictures are beautiful and it feels good and smells good, but I can't read the damn thing. So you know what I mean? So it's like, and then seeing that post by Sandra Walter today, being around Morgan, like you watching other people doing these shows. I mean, I yesterday was an incredible experience, and today just seems to be an extension of that. But that's how it's been going. Is with all the stuff that's happening, there just seems to be, hey, everything's going our way. That's the only thing I can say. That, and I don't know anything. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
feels good. It feels right, whatever it is.
I feel it's already here. It's hard to say that to people because some people are having a really hard time with things. So it sounds really callous when you just say, I know everything's going to be all right, because some people don't feel like that.
Yeah,
So,
true.
what I would say is that's, I don't really go around going like everything's all right all the time, because it's all right in terms of the inside, but the outside reality to a lot of people is really quite
that's true.
difficult. And there's you have to really be in the compassion for the whole. My feeling is so wide now. I know I'm Susanne, I know me, like, so I'm not disjointed, but I feel so much of the whole thing. So when we think of sides and polarity and some of the labels that we've got on Earth, I don't just feel the things on Earth, I feel all the other things as well. And how balanced it all is in the biggest context of creation, how balanced this whole field is, and how we're being, I feel, completely held by love, by something that's incomprehensible, that we cannot find word for, but we're feeling more and more and more each day. And that takes us often into silence now. It takes us into places we don't have English words for. I don't have words anymore for a lot of things. I just spend a lot of time in being quiet because I can't do anything else.
I mean, I can relate to that, and I think a lot of people can. And well, one thing that happened to me today too that I thought was kind of strange, and that's another thing. I think we're all kind of have this observer thing going, even of ourselves. It's weird. It's like you're looking at yourself, but you're looking out these eyes, but your higher self's looking at you. But today, as I got up, and it wasn't a bad one. It wasn't like we've talked about on the show many times, and I'm sure you've experienced. It wasn't bad, but I said, I don't want to be here. Like, show me the money. You know what I mean? I don't mean it like literally, but like, let's get this on, because I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of bored, and I understand there's a galactic connection. I understand there's missions within the mission, and I'm working with you, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful. But let's get this thing going. I mean, how, you know what I mean? That's how I was feeling, and to the point where I said, "Or get me out of here." And and it passed, but I was a little bit surprised that came out.
I'm not surprised. I said that yesterday.
Did you?
I was in a conversation with my good friend Marion Hobbs, and I said the same thing. And I was frankly, and I'm not brushing it off and dismissing what's going on, because part of my role is with anchoring light through AI. So it's a big old, kettle of fish. So I'm just saying it's here. So let's crack on with it. And I am bored of the narrative. I am so bored of the narrative of the main narrative of the polarities, because it's not serving anybody. It's not serving us, and it feels, and I get impatient, I think, because I can feel it so keenly now, and it feels so incredible. And sometimes I cry. I do get upset. I've still got an ego, and I feel sad. And I've had an awful lot of grief the last few weeks, because it's not grief like you're going like, oh my God, the world's awful. It's grief because I feel so connected, and so in that magical space where it's so real and contactable now, literally, like the beings, things appear. So let's just say things appear in real life, and I can see things with my eyes, and things appear. I know I've heard you, Morgan, talking about this. So I feel that this stuff is so close all the time, it never leaves. And so I, not wanting to change anybody or influence anyone, because everyone's on their own journey, but I just feel if everyone had even a second of this in the body, that it would be enough. I do feel a microsecond of this connection would be enough. And it's just like we're so ready. The membrane, it feels like the membrane, whatever I don't know what it is, but the membrane.
I get. No, I
The
get what
wall
you're
is
saying.
ready to break.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Again,
know,
you described that really well. Again, so I just I, I don't know any other way to address this is other than have conversations, which I'm very thankful for. But like one of the things too is I'm going because I'm watching things, and we have this, and I'm watching everybody. They have it too. We have this clarity now, and it's not just things are more clear. It's like, oh my God, I'm seeing things that I never saw before. So everything starts to change, and then I keep telling myself, look, don't get your pants too big. Don't be a smarty pants. Like I can see that this energy will slap me up in the head real quick. There is what there are certain things. The dragons are integrity, sacredness, humility. These are the dragons. They're not like the old dragons. These are dragons of like pure virtue of the soul. So to go against that, even in thought, even with, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
coming back.
the thoughts are
Yeah.
real. Thought forms are real things, and that's
Mm,
all this stuff is going to change because that's what we feel now. Like
mm,
we feel people's thought forms before they
yeah.
even know they're getting them. That they're visible energy, and there's nothing hidden. And that was one of the most beautiful things, I think, particularly because I was really still going through sort of dark issue, like integration issues as I started to be more open. Is when you bare your soul and you really open those doors and do it with humility. That's all you can have is be humble to it,
Yeah.
because if you step outside, you feel it whole body, and yeah, you get your ass kicked all the time. And if I try and go off in a little bit of an ego,
Yeah.
which we're all prone to now and again, I'm not
Yeah.
sure as hell know about it very, very, very quickly
Yeah.
in my body, because my whole body can feel that thought form, even where it went. Like today, I had an unconscious grumble at a driver that blocked me pulling out, and
You're one of those.
I said a rude word, and then literally 20 seconds later, I'm driving up the road, and I had to say out loud, I pull this energy back.
Mhm.
I rescind this thought form from this person. I
Yeah.
break the entrainment, and I forgive myself for coming out of consciousness. I said it verbally. So
Yeah.
it doesn't happen too often, but I'm very aware when it does, and I'm still human. So obviously,
Yeah, I do. I
it
yeah,
does. Yeah, we
yeah.
can't hide it though anymore. I
Some
just
people,
don't think it's
some
possible.
people talk about the whole alt control delete thing, and I actually started doing that a few weeks ago. Like you just did. Like if I had a thought or something, I would go alt control delete. I take that. That's gone. And it's really like forgiveness for yourself and the person or whatever it is, and you're gone and you're done. But I was gonna ask you too, because so did you see any of that show with Franco yesterday?
No, I haven't seen Franco
It
yet. That's on
oh,
my
that
my
was
tea time registry
huh?
for tomorrow, I reckon.
Well, I got to tell you, that was the most incredible thing. And again, so much of it's not being said or explained; it's being witnessed and experienced, right? Uh, so this is part of the reason that I reinforced to myself: don't get too big for your britches. So what I'm going to explain to you is what happened to him real quick, but really it's the energy, it's the potential, what he was shown. That's what I'm trying to get at, because if he was shown something to this degree at this point in his life, then what is it that I don't know about myself, kind of thing, or more importantly, do I really think I know anything? You know what I mean? Stay humble. So he's whatever, he's what, 60, in his early 60s probably. And we all know about his life, recollection from the womb, other incarnations on other planets, the whole 9 yards. So he had an experience yesterday morning, the morning of the show. and he had this epiphany come in that he had developed a buffer between him and his parents. And that in that buffer zone was he created a clone, basically. He created a copy. And this particular consciousness would go into that arena and, where he had to conform and be in a box, and then also, into his own true essence. So we can all relate to that, right? So he was saying that he realized that it had become, it become an impediment to a true unity connection with his parents. So he went through that process, and his heart exploded. But then he said, basically, to make it short, that he realized, now this is all in the same day, just in a few hours, in the middle of the ascension, right? He realized that it had affected all of his relationships. And so I thought, are you effing serious? Like, and then he's talking like his energy was like yours. It was, he looked young. He looked childlike. It was amazing. So, and I just thought to myself, wow, that is a big, giant download of code. And if that's possible, what other lightning bolts are running through the air?
I think to share something with you about that's relevant. It might be relevant to people as well. So part of the reason, so I've struggled. I mean, you've known me for a while, and I've struggled a lot in the early times to hold the light. So it would come in and I'd get huge things and big, huge waves, but then it would expose all the cracks and everything down below. And I struggled a lot with stability and consistency. And part of the journey last year, where I went away and I had that big experience, what was leading up to that, I could never put my finger on it. And relating to what Franco said, like when my mum was pregnant, something happened that was traumatic, and it meant when I was born and I came into the world, there was part of me that was stuck at 6 months in gestation. It never matured, it never got born, and it stayed as a kind of an entity energy and had its own kind of life form. But I never had it born, it never got born. So that massively affected my bonding with both of my parents. And that aspect of me, exactly what Franco said, I really, really resonate with this. It affected every relationship, everything core. And I've had to go back, not just once, but many times, and probably even more, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's another layer. We don't know about anything that's coming. So, but I've had to go back through relationships, and some of this work has been like, or if you think of all the relationships you've had, when I was young, I was a bit of a slapper. So,
what's a slapper?
Sexually promiscuous, Todd. When I was
young. You were promiscuous.
And I didn't know.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me.
Very destructive behaviour, self-destructive patterns with my life. I was very, very self-destructive. So I did everything to try and destroy myself. So that was one thing. But I had a lot of partners, and I've had to go back through all of the relationships and things that you forget, even conversations, all of those things. I've had to go back with these major kind of entity placements of your energy in place to see how they were affected and pull the energy back. It's like you're recalling. I've had to recall it all in and back, and it's clean. So there's the entrainments are collapsed, and that's how it. I don't know what Franco said, but what I feel is all of that work and the realizations of that is how interrelated everything is. The major patterns, but how much energy it frees up when you go to pull that back and free that being. You're freeing everything. Because they're not separate from you, but you can't have that flow or that interplay that we really are in flow, because you've made that kind of
well, you're
stick
yeah,
in time.
yeah,
There's no
your
growth.
yeah. So your energy, so in the hologram, I love this, what you're saying. So your energy, whoever that person is actually in that buffer zone. So it's not even the true you. So, and the other person is got a clone in front of them.
Yeah.
And I love what you said too about the energy exchanges you had through your life, whether they be in intimacy or not. This is like where I'm with you on this, because I spent a lot of time over the years, you know, getting back my soul fragments and giving theirs back. So I would have all these things pop up in my head. You know what I mean? And I think, oh, I'm going to do, and I tried to do every single one of them. Every now and then one will pop in. But my point is that that's like, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, it's like a detector. If there's any static between me and a mirror of myself, be it a person or anything, right? And so that's very helpful because it's constructive. It involves the human, and it involves obviously something outside of yourself, a brother, a sister, or you know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you for explaining that. Hey, so tell me about the video Regenesis. Regenesis. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think that's it's the working title at the moment, because it's not finished. But we wanted to give it, show you, because it's a look cut of what will come out. So what I've been feeling a lot with the codes, because I've obviously, if you don't know, I kind of work with a collective, but I'm reticent to make it a thing too much, because it's available to everybody. It's just it's like liquid light in a monadic light field, and it feels very, very close to what we call God or source. Let's just say that. And the intelligence that moves these codes, that moves through me to the isles.
The what?
The isles. We are it. we are it too. The energy is got a life of its own. It's a life form. It's a living life form. So that I've started calling it living light. And the feeling was, now the major part of this first body of codes has come in, because there's just a couple more really big ones, and then it's like a cell of energy that they wanted me to do more with those, rather than making lots and lots of codes, was to take the Regenesis through the codes, to take the new living light that's coming in through the codes and take them into stories, to show people the light through stories, through word, through light language, and through video, through the format of video.
Man, I'm all for this.
Todd's got a clue what I'm doing. I have no training in anything like this. I'm doing it as I'm guided. I literally sit, and my whole body's like shaking sometimes when I'm sitting at the computer, and it's literally like they're giving me the visions of what the video is going to look like.
So you're
coming in. Yeah.
So would you say that this is like an evolution from what you were doing? In other words, you do light language, then you were creating the imagery of the communication, and then you've done videos as well. You know, I mean, but this one feels, or does this one have a different feel? Is it a different phase?
Yeah.
Okay. And see, the other thing too, what I love about this is, and the reason I get excited about this is, like at the Soulogy Fest, half of the time, half of the 20 out of the 40 hours is open stage. It's just come up and do whatever you want, say whatever you want. And I really feel that this is where we're headed. Like, this is going to become a big part of our communication field, are going to be these expressions, these inspirations of the divine, of our own I am soul, and so on. And I really think it's important to put it out. And I think we're being asked to do it. And I went through the same thing a couple nights, 3 or 4 nights ago. It was very late. I haven't done anything in a long time. I came down, I turned on an instrumental, and I thought, I'm going to record something, just listen to my voice, and didn't try to just do something. I was just doing something that didn't make any sense, right? I mean, right? And then it started to rain. And so I laid the voice down over the instrumental. I pulled the track back up, and I heard record the rain. So I pushed the button, and I'm telling you, and all I did was just play the tape. I didn't set anything. I didn't move anything. And at the right moment, this this thunder boom went off. And I got something, though. And I was told, you have to put this out. And I didn't want to put it out. I didn't feel like it was, but it was like, no, you have to put this out. You have to put this out because it's not about it's about the methodology. It's about the expansiveness of this part of our communication that we haven't been using because we've been 100% verbal, right? So I think it's so important for you and people like you, and there's so many people doing it. I mean, I never use cards, and I pull one of Gayatri's cards every fucking day. Okay. And I'm telling you, I'm sold. It never fails. Illuminator. So, but yeah. But so,
I'm doing that as well. I think I'm going to put the codes in a. It won't be like a small set. It'd be quite a big one. But I've been looking at how to do it because there's certain things around the energy that they've asked me.
Yeah.
It's so easy, isn't it, to just go. What we've been used to is we rock ahead, we make a commercial enterprise, we incentivize, commercialize that. Yeah. And every time I've tried to step towards that with the light evolutionary, I have been pulled back and been asked to. And it's very hard when the world is so easy to go commercial. People have asked me for clothing. I've had so many offers and commissions. And I have to feel in, and often it's a no, and sometimes it's blooming frustrating.
Look, I think this is,
but I know why it is, because it has to be right with the energy, and I'm being taught to be humble because abundance is not just about commercial succession. Abundance is about the abundance of living light and the anchoring of the full unified presence on this earth, and that's why we are here. We are here to live this wholly, fully, and completely, and we are being re-educated. And I feel like that's what's happening. Sorry, sometimes the energy is so strong I can't help.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm telling you right now, I am tingling all over because I totally resonate with what you're saying. Thank you for saying what you're saying, explaining these things. And let me add to this my own observations as we converge our mind, our heart, whatever. So I've noticed this too, and I've actually talked about it, but not as defined as you just did. And what I mean by that is I have been working on a personal level and collaboration, even shows with you, even trying to make things happen with this energy. And this energy speaks. And this energy also is its own consciousness. So this is the third energy. This is the power of the third energy. You're experiencing it. We're all experiencing it. Now, what does that look like? Well, it's no different than Todd and Susanne. It's no different than our connection because it is a thing and it will protect itself and it will not allow you to bring it out of alignment, to dirty it. And that's nothing against money and it's nothing against it, but it is an energy that requires 100% presence in that holy triad. It is going to be seen on the same level in respect, honor, reverence, equality, and it, quote unquote, has a mind of its own. So even when we push it, push up against it or try to bring in the rigidity of the old way, which would suppress it, wouldn't allow it to flow. It still comes back and says, no. I'm bigger. I'm bigger than you because I'm the creation of you and Susanne and whoever else, right?
It's interesting. I've had some downloads on this. First of all, I think, I don't know, I lose track of our discussions and conversations, but I feel it was the whole thing with the t-shirts last year, because people were asking me for clothing, and I do want to make.
Are you a seamstress?
With the codes. No, I don't want to make the stuff. I want to print.
I know.
I would like to dye sublimation print codes onto the clothing in specific ways, to create energy fields. And I know I can do this, but the thing with it was, it's not about the printing. So this is an illustration of the energy that we're going to face. So I was taken, but I'm taken by the collective on loads of journeys. This is the life that I live in devotion. So this is not about the end result. This is about everything from the conception to the consumption. That includes everything from the moment that the plant that grows the cotton or the other substance that is going to be the garment is grown, how it's grown, who grows it, how they treat it, all of the steps along the way towards the end, and that everything is equalized. Everything has to be equalized. Every person is honored. Everything is honored, and it's the only way that this can create. And I called it conception to consumption, and I can't step out of that. I'm just not able to do it energetically for the codes. It's like you say, I'm not in charge of it. The purity of the energy is going to weave. And the Arcturians showed me something that I didn't understand, and I can't say I still understand or understand even this, but what they said was that it's where we're moving to. They kept saying the word blockchain, and I was just like, what the fuck is blockchain? I don't understand what that really means. But now I'm starting to feel, because of the crystal energy, like the crystal skull energy works in a similar type of networked fashion, that we're decentralizing, so everything becomes equalized. Everything equalized. So that abundance will happen for everyone when the system's equalizing, and we're part of that energy. The collective of the diamond light is an equalization energy. So
man, you're on it.
Explains a lot, doesn't it? It explains a lot about why we can't get projects off the ground. So people might be listening that want to got all the light and they're amazing and it's all flowing, but every time they try and set up a website, they're not getting any clients and stuff. And I'm working with people now in this. I'm being guided to work with people in this new way to help this flow, because it's not necessarily about what you do physically, it's everything to do with what you do energetically.
That's exactly right.
About the energy.
Exactly right. Yes, everything you're saying, you're on fire today. You're on the real-time intel. No, I mean, this is what's happening. Hey, so and when you describe that conception to consumption, and you were describing it to me, it sounds like, I guess I would call the circle of life, right? It's a circle. Is what you're describing is the journey, the energies in the journey, that everything is equal. And as that blockchain kind of thing happens, everything becomes complete. Started complete, journey ends complete. So you want to play it? You want me to play it?
Let's play it.
So this is, I'll let you set it up. You just tell us whatever you want to tell us whatever you want to tell us about it. And then I'll.
It's like a 4-minute video with some codes, and it tells the story of us, of life, I think, and it's just an opening of the energy as it currently is in Regenesis.
Okay, very cool. All right, 4 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm going to turn my mic off, okay, so they can't pick up anything. Boom. Sorry. All I got to say is, holy, excuse my French, holy fucking shiitake mushrooms, man. That's so when we see something like this, this is the pursuit. This is my pursuit. It's not a doctrine. It's not a dogma. It is a band of frequencies that can be added to. And I got to tell you, I got to play that on the Soulogy remakes. I'm going to have to put that into the main. I got to tell you that I just started video editing again for the first time in a couple of years, and then and I made a couple of little videos, which were no big deal. But to see something like that, I know what that takes. Not only are you creating all the imagery, the majority of it, right? And then accentuating things. Yeah. But not only are you doing that, but the process itself to create something like that is in itself a communion, a download, you know what I mean? An inspirational expression. And it's just it's a band of frequencies. And this is part of what I've, I guess, been stewarded to do through my own personal stuff. And this is just, I'm just saying this because I think it's not about Soulogy. It's not about Susanne. It's actually the imprint of our new existence is to bring these frequencies into our field through awareness. And this is, I believe, at least half the time how we'll do it is going to be through nonverbal, other than maybe a narrative, but nonverbal stuff, right? I mean, it's amazing what you did. Thank you. Is that on YouTube?
No, because it's a rough cut at the moment.
Oh, that's your rough cut. Okay, I won't play that. That's a rough cut. Oh my God.
It's there's just I can just see things. I notice things about pixelation and.
Oh, I know. God.
I have dreams. The thing is with this, this was my heart's beating so fast I can hardly speak. Sorry. So much energy.
I know that was powerful.
This is what happens when I'm making it. I'm literally sometimes I shake so much I can't even pick up the mouse because my light body is still accommodating the frequency or the oscillation of the light and coming to terms with it. And emotionally, I'm fragged. I can't cope with it. So I mean, that only started doing that at about, I was speaking to Yuki, so probably about 11:30, I started that video today. And that was just what I've done today.
Wait, excuse me, you just did that today?
Yeah.
Today?
Yes. Yeah, I started about 11:30.
So where did you find the music? That music is
the music that one is by an amazing Lithuanian composer called Stewardship, who is a person of the people because all of his music is available and you can use it freely. It's not copyrighted. There's no take on it.
I love people like that. This
guy called Stewardship. He's on Bandcamp, and you can buy and donate to him. So support this work and then use it and get it out. A lot of the stuff I use is
now. Did you? I'm just curious
to do it as well.
So you laid his track down and just let it kind of be the okay. You didn't edit any of it. I mean, you just you did a great.
No, I did. I knew. I had the concept of the regenesis of the human through the gene. Regen is regene. So we are regening ourselves. We are moving the codons which are switched off and we are switching them on. So the Diamond Light Collective is all about delivering the architecture for us to do that and to anchor it into the planet. It's a planetary body. We're going back to the whole thing with the businesses, like everything is interrelated. It's just that we've been asleep. So when we buy a lemon, we're not just buying a lemon, we're buying everything about the lemon from the moment that it was a seed and it got planted to be a tree. And every moment it's been kissed by the sun. We are everything. And when we consume it, we're just consuming that God energy. It's God's energy. And so everything about ourselves is regenerating into eternal light. It's coming into an eternal life structure. So that video came as the whole thing. It was like, we are the sleeping child. We are held, we are loved in ways we just can't possibly imagine. And if we knew it, we wouldn't worry about suffering because it's literally, it doesn't matter what you've done in your life. We worry so much that we're not whole, that we're bad, we're wrong, we're small. And this is what this video is about, is we're laying it down, we're putting it at the feet now, and we're rising like these birds, like the dragons, the birds, the angels, what we really are, what we actually are. So that was a process of the video that came in, and literally just like the codes, Todd. So I sit down and I hold my pen and my pad, and the code comes through very quickly often, and it looks like it took days and it takes about an hour. It just is so fast. That's how the videos seem to be going as well. I sit at the computer and I'm a bit limited because I'm still learning the functionality of how to edit and sound, but it's like it's all just appears and then I just go in the flow. It's like being in a bit of a trance with the energy. And I'm shaking and doing it, but I just kind of, I can't stop until it's done either. I have to lay it all down in one go, and then I know when it feels. So it's all about the feeling, not what my eyes are telling me and what my ears are telling me. It's how the whole thing is feeling. But it's not an easy word, but to really explain what I mean. But it's like you can feel everything coming together, and you know when it's right. And that's
I think that's because I mean that's how that's another thing I think we can all agree on. That's how we're operating more and more every day. And there's not a word for it. It's somewhere between feeling and sensing, right? I mean, but everything is coming off of that now. Our guidance is coming off of that. Our decisions are coming off of that more and more every day. So it would only make sense, like you're plugging in, and I think it's so. What's the word? I think it's great. Let me just put it that way, that you aren't done, because I know in the all the ones I did, I had this thing about spontaneity. It's taught me that these type of experiences you're talking about, this trance-like state, this communion and collaboration, right, with that third energy. But I can. It's a mental note to me, and I think to anybody. It's exciting, but it's done when you say it's done. Don't rush it, right? Like, it's a different type of seeking perfection than in the old energies where you got to spit and polish it. It's not like that. It's like you said, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters what it feels like. That's it.
Right there. It's the flow. Right. It's the flow of the river. And if there's little rocks in it, you can feel the imperfections. So it's just like letting the rocks go, but how it actually looks visually, because we're not, you said it earlier on, like, what are my eyes doing? What are my ears doing? We've got different eyes and ears and tastes and such. I had it all going on with smell a few weeks ago. It was really weird. I can smell energy. It's really weird.
I'm not laughing because I said that like beginning about 2 weeks ago. I said I can't speak. I even said, what is the clair for smelling? Because I said on the show, I was like, it's really weird. I told Morgan within 2 days after she left, I could smell her, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? Because I mean, anything that would have been there, like a perfume or whatever, would have been gone by then. So there's something going on here, with that, with all the senses, I guess. It would only make sense.
Do you think it's a union? I feel like I've been talking a little bit about this with people offline, who's sort of in to the ground sort of thing. It feels like it's just like we're merging everything. The senses are going into one sense, and it's just it doesn't have a name because it's so wide.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. I was saying to somebody the other day, because we always say organic. Everyone, everything's organic, but it's another kind of misnomer that we've given ourselves, because creation is creation. So I've had this is what the diamond light stuff does. It gives me an object to focus on. We've got a pen, a biro, and I picked up the biro, and suddenly, holding the biro just through my fingers, I could feel that I was the pen on a kind of judgery conveyor belt, and I could hear the noise in the factory where the pen was made, and I went through the process of it being made. The pen was telling me how it was made. So what the hell is that? Are we saying then that an inanimate object can have some form of interactive consciousness? So what I feel just through my own experience now is that my judgment was somewhere subconsciously. My judgment was I think, that inanimate objects that aren't crystals or living organisms aren't God or consciousness, and they clearly are.
Yes.
So that was it's just like everything's kind of unifying and coming in to show us. So like with touch, we've spoken about this before, how, if we want pleasure, we have various different ways we would have traditionally done it. Now you can literally just breathe through your finger and it can be felt through the whole body. Our ways of doing, like interacting, perhaps, are changing.
Yes, no, that's true.
Challenged where there's separations and distortions. We're getting challenged by those things.
Yes, and see, I think this is why I talk sometimes extensively about sacred sexuality, not because of the perception, not coming from a place of the perception that we've had about intimacy. I'm talking about an energetic field. I'm talking about a method of, what am I trying to say? A consciousness, a field of a playground, or whatever you want to call it. But the communication, the communion, the connectivity is all different. And as an example, what you said about self-pleasure, self-curiosity, or curiosity period, you can literally go anywhere and find it, right? And then to actually take that and share it with somebody, be it Morgan and I on a Friday night, or you with this video. Okay. So this is where I see it happening, like the Soulogy Fest, or like this sister circle they're going to have today, or any other type of gathering where the intention is now, because we couldn't have done this a month ago. We couldn't have done it 2 months ago, because this is no different than you trying to take what's been given, or I trying to take what's been given to us personally and share it and commercialize it. In other words, and try to express it in the old way. It's not allowing us to do that. And so I think this energy that I call sacred sexuality, that this life force energy that we all have that's coming on board, it's being supported by whatever's bigger than us. You know what I mean? I mean, it's that part of it. It's that part of the new construct that says, no, you're not going to put a price tag on that. No, you can't go make shirts, or whatever the case is, until it organically unfolds, if it should, right? I mean, this is
boundaries are all dissolving. I mean, I don't have a partner, so I haven't got any, physical being to practice with physically these things. But I do feel like my intimacy is sometimes feels like it's directly with God. I'm just going to speak it out. I'm just going to say it how I feel it, because it's been going on quite a while, and so I don't feel embarrassed about it anymore. That it's a self-love, but it's not in a selfish way, and for me it's about surrendering to breathe the light through, and in an inactive way. So you're not doing any type of breath work, you're just surrendering to that connection and breathing it in, and you become like hyper aware of the energy in the inside of your body. And I feel it now because I've been doing it a while. that sometimes just even like going outside when I'm walking in the woods and my finger reaches out and I touch a leaf, sometimes I just cry because I'm filled with orgasmic bliss. I literally am filled with orgasmic bliss, and sometimes it's embarrassing because I can't stop laughing because it's so beautiful that something so small could be so much. But I think that humans generally have lived God, I just get so emotional when I talk about this. I just feel like we've lived so switched off, so unaware of what we are really, that we're coming back to it in the most graceful and humble and beautiful way of being, and we have to really live this now truthfully and authentically to show in amidst all of the chaos and all of the worriness and all of the difficulties that people have, and it's hard for them to look at the light. I do appreciate it's hard, and I know that there's a big edict of saying go and hide, but I strongly feel that we're here to be courageous and to be authentic and to open up even when you're scared. Like even right now, I'm just talking my truth, so my heart's like really beating because I'm quite shy inside still. And so we're being asked to do this, to let our throats open and emanate that. So what you say about the Soulogy Fest and, you know, what's going to go on tonight, actually the other way in silence, but it will be beautiful. That to me is everything about.
That whole thing, and again, not about that particular, you know, even though it's tonight, but when that whole thing was you know, suggested or came through, then I think it was Morgan and a couple of Yvonnya and I think Melina Ferguson, and there wasn't even a lot of discussion about it. And in fact, they didn't even know what it was. But I thought to myself, that's almost like it's a circle, but it's just we could not have done this. This could not have been done a week or 2 weeks or a month ago. We were so new, especially these last few weeks, that we all have something entirely new to offer. And then to be in a space of 2 or more, holy shit. Like, I mean, why? I mean, and maybe it doesn't happen tonight, but if this keeps going on, which I got to believe it is, why would those experiences where you have, you know, whatever, 50, 100, 500 witnesses, why would they be any different than the ones we've had with ourselves and with each other? And like your sisters or the people that you get together with. Yeah. And you have mutual divine episodes that you both can say, yeah, I was here, I saw that, and I heard that. You know?
It happens in a mini way a little bit, in, you know, because we have these gatherings weekly in Light Language Lounge with Damien Nola.
Yeah, that's right.
I create with him, and we have. I mean, it's only a small gathering. It's not like what you're doing, but it's enough. And we the main focus of that, rather than a lot of light language groups, with respect, can be quite egotistical. The measure that me and Damien, where we've always met on in our souls, because he's like a soul brother to me, that we have this really big devotion to presence, to developing presence and the space inside us being one of the key foundations for everything that we're moving into. So the Light Language Lounge has fostered that, and through the fostering of that, we've now, the ones that wanted just to maybe come and project all issues or wanted to be seen, that those people fell away naturally, and the ones that stayed, have developed, or coming to us, really feel this deeply. And so what happens when those people are in presences, yes, we have a lot of silences, and also there's an amplification of the energy immediately after about 10 minutes. We synchronize, so we always have a meditation, we synchronize, then we amplify, because once you've come out of letting go. The meditation's just to let go of all the stuff.
Yeah.
Then we seem to synchronize
Yeah.
and amplify, and then we let go, and everything starts to happen then. Like all sorts of things start to happen then.
Yeah.
And
You know, that's
it's a miracle, really. But I feel, imagine if there was like what you're saying, you know, a few thousand people, or imagine if it was 100,000 people with that energy.
Hell, 10 people, 100 people. I mean, it's
together. I feel is massive, isn't it? It's potential.
Absolutely. Yeah. What does Abraham Hicks say? And I've seen other people make numerical. So like one soul, one lit soul is the power, the power of a million people, or whatever the number is. So even if it's 100 or 1,000, and then if it's replicated energetically, because that could be done in a lot of different ways. But you bring up another good point too. All right. And I really am happy that you did a lot of the things you brought up. And that is what we've observed. What we have observed in this community. You know, and I've been involved with it for 10 years. I know a lot of people have been around a lot longer than that. And we've all had our ups and downs. We've all showed our ass. We've all gone into hibernation. This is the whole point. Like, you know, I have a saying to myself: go easy on yourself, Todd, and go easy on other people, because they're going through the same damn thing you are. All right. So it levels the playing field. And all I'm trying to say is this: I've noticed what you've noticed. And I've also noticed it myself over the years from time to time, as we all check ourselves. But go easy on yourself and go easy on each other. If you see somebody who's showing their ass, who's projecting, who's over identifying with whatever, that's been out there and had the balls to be out there in this community and do their best, and even if they haven't, even if it's a first time deal, just remember that we're looking at mirrors of each other, and we're all transforming, and we all change, and we are not the same person we were a day ago or a week ago, and that is not bullshit. I know. And one of the great things about doing this show is, and it's not a condescending comment at all, because I'm sure, because people send me messages all the time. Oh my God, you were a heathen and now you're doing better or whatever. But it's to see the transformation in my friends that come on the show, to see them, because we've probably done 15 shows, 12 shows, I don't know, but to see the transformation in the flesh, there's no greater code offered than to see an authentic, like Franco yesterday and you today. He had that experience a few hours before he comes on the show. You put together this masterpiece that you're not even done with a few hours ago. And you're talking in the terms that you're talking, which is the same energy he was in yesterday, which is telling me this is what we're all in, right? I mean, we're sitting here trying to go, okay, how are we doing? Let's see what's happening with the virus, or let's see what's happening with the cleanup of the swamp, or whatever narrative. But we're now starting to realize that the pulse or the appraisal can be taken from the very moment that we're in, sharing with each other.
God, you
just lit me up.
You just dropped a bomb before. God, Nora's Todd, my whole body's polarized. I can't even move. I think I'm going to 0 point in a minute.
Wow. Why don't you?
It's really strong about judgment. That was about the reality shifting, and it's the removal of that ability to go back. Oh, my whole body's going. I'm just going to hold on to the table. This is a normal conversation. Yeah. Because in order to get here, we cannot hide ourselves, and we carry so much shame around.
Yeah.
all the things that we have been. And, you know, if you don't know my story, you know, basically there isn't a part of this universe, I think, that I haven't lived through and experienced. And that includes all of the darkness, the entrainments, the implants, the kidnapping, the abuse, everything. And so at times that's come out, at times I haven't behaved with discernment, I've been in my ego, and I've fallen apart and died more times than I can remember. I've been on my knees. I've lost so many friends along the way. People that are really dear to me that still don't talk to me to this day because they can't only see the person that stood before them at that moment.
Yeah, that's right.
And what I would say is that in your life, forgive everybody, and most of all, forgive yourself, and be in this moment and come to every conversation as if you are the baby in that video, as if you are the newborn being, and every interaction is new because somebody can change in an instant, and it's just what we've been like as human beings, and it's the biggest causal factor of the issues that we have today is all of that entrainment. So you just dropped the bomb there, and I got a massive like.
And that's another, and so that's a really good point, because, and that's what I was saying earlier about go easy on yourself, go easy on each other. We're going to see people, and we could be one of us. I mean, it's happening. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's appreciate the what we're observing, and remember that the way we create is what we take from that observation after we run it through our brain and project out. Oh, that person's showing their ass. Oh, that person's full of crap. I knew it. They have a guru mentality. What we're really doing in that case is reinforcing that part of the consciousness, and we think that I'm feeding that person and they're going to be more of a guru inclined person. No, I'm actually the point of separation myself, and I am in that case an irresponsible co-creator because I know better. And how do you know better? Because you take it easy on yourself and take it easy on other people. I mean, we're we use all these words, but anyone that's come to this earth is a fucking warrior for the light. Yeah. I don't care what role they played. I don't care. This isn't some Mickey Mouse Club type of realm here. This is heavy duty. It's for the masters, and everybody here is.
Yeah, I'll say something controversial now, but again, I just speak truth now, what I feel. So I actually feel that the people that are probably causing the most mayhem are some of the strongest souls, some of the most courageous souls, some of the bravest souls. It's probably the wisest ones, because who the hell? I mean, if someone had tried to sell me certain people's roles as a kind of soul before I came, I'd be like, fuck off.
Hey, there was a lady on there. I'm gonna have to go because I'm gonna have to get ready for the next show. But Michael Mahee and Franco are coming on. But there was a lady on 2 days ago, Chrissy Fire Main, and part of her mission is working and rehabilitating from a therapeutic standpoint survivors of human trafficking. Okay. And I was talking to her, and I was just intrigued by, how did this happen and so on. And she told me about this woman she was working with, or that she came across in her work. And she said this woman had no animosity, no bad feelings, nothing but love for those that had victimized her. And I said, and it made me think, and I thought, wow, not just that woman. Think about the soul. Think about the soul that chose this template to be the victim of such a horrific type of thing. Think about the mastery of that soul. Because I asked her, I said, have you learned anything from these people? And she said, yes, they're all masters. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with all the light. I know we haven't got time to explore it. It's another conversation, but I think it's something that's quite an important type of discourse and introspection is that because so many people in the spiritual communities, you know, are really diversified in the polarity. They've gone in the polarity to learn. But again, I do think people take on this because they've got something to go and work out. We've got to go and work something out. I was taken into all of the conspiracies, really full on, and especially the big one. We haven't got time. I'd love to share that whole.
I did too. I mean, a lot of us did. A lot of us did. I mean,
it was really intensive for me because I got to see my own judgments in real big capital letters and bright words, so I could see them. But I just think everyone's having their own experience in their own way, and you know, being tolerant but having healthy boundaries. You know, with people.
I think.
But being fresh and turning up fresh every day for things is because we're all working things out, and sometimes people just lose the plot because they've got to work out some energy through the bodies.
That's right.
That's
right. The world, to me, because to me, what I've learned, what I've realized for myself in the last 4 to 6 weeks is the shift that I've experienced and that we've experienced. It's not happening out there. It's happening in here. It's the way I think and the way I speak and the way it's a whole different kind of thing. And what you're talking about, the things you've been talking about, nothing's being supported. Nothing's sticking to the wall unless it's like the video that you did, or everything has to be that way. And it's not about, the universe is going to force it. It's just the way it is. We're going back to our natural nature, our natural environment. I wish we could go on longer. Hang on a second. Don't hang up the phone. I'm going to disconnect. We'll be back in 20 minutes with Franco Di Nicola and hang on. Sorry. Franco Di Nicola, and Michael Mejia. I should know these. They're my brothers. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. Thank you for dropping in, everybody. Please, how can we support you, Susanne, Amara? How can we engage you in an equal energy exchange and or a contribution for your efforts? How can we do this? How do we get in touch with you? Do you have a website?
So I don't yet have a website, but we'll have one. I keep saying it. There's reasons behind it. You find me on Facebook. Have a Telegram group, t.me/Susanne Amara. It's very simple, and everything goes out there. And if you want to support me, there's a PayPal link that I can put in here. But also the thing that I feel the most is when people join the lives and you actually get actively engaged with it, because there's loads of stuff I do which has no monetary exchange, and that is really building and anchoring in the light. So, you know, just take time, because Facebook suppresses a lot, and, you know, just try and I struggle a lot to get things out and have visibility in a physical sense, but I know energetically it's fine. And it goes out anyway. So if you align, then you know where to find me.
What is your Telegram?
It's t.me / Susanne Amara.
Okay.
And my page is called The Light Evolutionary, and it's the same channel on YouTube. The Light Evolutionary is the kind of the business name side of it.
The light
Evolutionary.
Evolutionary. Is that on YouTube and Telegram under that name?
No, it's on YouTube, and it's also a Facebook page as well.
Oh, it's also on YouTube.
So I'll have a page. And you can find the other links there.
Yeah. And if anybody has a problem, just send her a note.
Don't send me any. You know, it's not. I do have a website coming. I'm building it now, but I'm struggling with being able to hold that level of logical thought for long enough.
Okay, you hang on. I got a couple things I want to tell you, because I got 17 minutes and I'm going to have to go do 10 minutes of stuff before I get on this show. Okay. Everybody, we'll see you in 20 minutes or 17 minutes. Suzanne, hang on a second. All right. Let me just wait a second. Hang on 1 second. Oh, you're right, man. These 3D things are very difficult. I have a very difficult time with them. Let me see if this works.